recording the installation of a Granger ISS in-ground safety shelter. The installation of the tornado shelter will be complete in a single day, approximately around 4 hours. Location marking. Before we get started digging our hole, we must first select our installation location. In most situations, the tornado shelter will be installed in the exterior of the home or business. This is the type of installation we will be showing you today. Before you start digging, it is imperative that you contact 811 or your local call before you dig service that will come out and mark any underground utility lines. You should schedule this service a minimum of 48 business hours before you begin digging. Most important, you must determine if your location is in a floodplain and assure your door opening is a minimum of 24 inches above the 100-year floodplain. If you have any questions in regards to doing this, contact FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, at 202-646-2500 or visit their website at www.fema.gov. If you have any questions about installation location, please contact your Granger ISS dealer or refer to FEMA 320 specifications, Section 3.5 for storm shelter installation recommendations from FEMA. Once your utility lines are properly marked and not interfering with your installation location, you can proceed to marking out your installation location. Mark off a 10-foot by 12-foot area for your installation. Once your installation perimeter is marked off and established, set the shelter in the desired location inside of the marked off 10-foot by 12-foot perimeter. Using spray paint, paint around the shape of the shelter inside of the marked off desired installation location. This will give you an idea of the placement and accessibility of the shelter prior to digging. With no location issues or utility line conflicts, we are now ready to begin digging our 10-foot by 12-foot hole for installation. Digging hole. Now with our installation location selected and utilities marked, we are now set to start digging our installation location, provided that your area is a minimum of 24 inches above the 100-year floodplain. If your area is such that the top surface of the ground is some distance below the floodplain as informed by FEMA, obtain that measurement and subtract that distance from the 24 inches that the shelter is to be installed above the 100-year floodplain, plus 5 inches, the distance between the bottom of the door opening to the top of the highest offset, a rib, on top of the shelter. Example. You would dig down 32 inches and level the bottom of the hole for the shelter. You would install the shelter and recheck the height of the bottom of the door opening for proper elevation above the floodplain. We will be digging our hole approximately 64 inches deep, about 10 foot by 12 foot. As you can see, our particular installation location is in a high water table area. Once we dig to around 64 inches deep, we will use a transit laser set to ensure our hole is dug to the proper depth for our particular installation purposes. You also want to ensure that the hole depth is not too deep, as you must leave the opening of the door a minimum of 24 inches above the 100-year floodplain. Once the installation location is to the proper depth, you will want to ensure that your hole is level, ensuring that the shelter is installed level. We suggest pumping the installation hole dry in effort to maximize your installation and ensure the level of the shelter install. In effort to maximize efficiency, given the high water table installation, we are going to pour a small gravel base in effort to get our installation location level faster. With our small gravel base down, the hole relatively pumped out, we can now lower the shelter into place in our installation location. Using a spirit level or bubble level, we check to ensure that the Granger ISS shelter is level. recheck the height of the bottom of the door opening to assure that it is a minimum of 24 inches above the floodplain. Now with the shelter in place and level, we can begin backfilling the installation location with the same dirt and sediment that we just removed from the ground. Backfilling hole. A large portion of the backfilling work will be completed by the same heavy equipment used to dig the installation location. However, as the location starts to fill, a portion of the grading work will want to be done manually by hand to reduce settling as much as possible and to keep heavy equipment off top of the shelter. Once the backfilling is complete, check to ensure that the door of the Granger ISS tornado shelter opens safely and completely. If you allow too much dirt behind the door, it will not open completely. Please remove any necessary dirt, sediment, rocks, or debris that would keep the door from opening completely and safely. Also, check to ensure that all 3 of the door latches operate and engage easily and effectively. With the backfilling and grading work relatively complete, your shelter should now be installed and look something similar to this. Now that your tornado shelter is installed, it is imperative to properly fill out the warranty card and provide the necessary information, as well as notify your local first responders of installed shelter to properly activate the lifetime warranty of the Granger ISS. When installed properly, the Granger ISS tornado shelter should provide security and protection from storms and tornadoes for generations to come. For more information, please visit www.grangerplastics.com or call 513-424-1955.